All right, it's 5:20 at KPEL. And as promised, former state senator Elbert Lee Guillory is with us this afternoon. Good to have you with us. I've never seen him this relaxed. Usually, he's dressed to the nines. And
things must be going great out on the campaign trail. He must be having no resistance, nobody giving him grief. He's happy and content about the presidential election.
Yep, absolutely.
Everything must be flowing your way.
Well, that part about the campaign going well, yes, that is absolutely true.
Good. What are you seeing out there? What are you hearing from people? Because you're out there every day, as you were when you were elected. You're a public servant, is what I describe you really as, helping where it needs. What are you hearing from people on a regular basis?
People are tired of the way that government has behaved with them, has kind of pushed them onto the back burner. People go to Washington, D.C., they become millionaires, and the rest of us just limp along. The nation limps along. And people are tired of it.
Yeah. Before you came in, we were talking about the fact that I think people are fed up with everything. And as a citizen, what the heck can we do about it? It's like our representatives in Congress don't listen to us. The president doesn't listen to us. And, I mentioned this to John, and he looked at me like, don't say that. I was thinking about a Second Amendment armed resurrection is what it might take. Resurrection. Did I say that?
I think you said insurrection, yeah. But I thought it was a Viagra commercial.
Well, so that was a Bob Dole thing. But anyways, is it going to take that sort of thing to get attention of people in Washington?
There are two things that we can do. The second is a revolution. And we've been there before in this country.
Yeah.
The first thing that we can do, and hopefully we will not have to have a revolution, is to elect some people with the big mouths, the coconuts, to go to Washington, D.C., and to seriously make some changes, to demand that the government change. And that's what I am. I'm one of those change agents. I've had it, and I'm ready to go to Washington and demand the change.
I think one of the things we're seeing this particular election cycle is that if you're in a situation where you've had the same old politician, the same old speech, same old promises and everything else, I think this is one of the reasons why candidates like Donald Trump, who clearly are not political, you can call Donald Trump whatever you want to call it. He is not a politician, and I think people are willing to forgive some of the missteps in what he says, because you're just getting the brutal, honest truth with him. You may not always like it, but he doesn't have a hidden agenda. With Hillary, unfortunately, I don't know that if you ask her a simple yes or no, you're going to get a straight answer. Do you see that out there when in your race, that people really just want honest change?
Absolutely, and that is why Donald Trump is so popular right now. Trump is not a politician. He's not politically correct. He's not going to sugarcoat his response. He's going to give it to you straight from the shoulder. And people respect that.
And you know what? I know somebody else that does that. He's sitting in this room right here.
I agree.
He doesn't sugarcoat it, and he's not as abrasive as Donald Trump. But I tell you what, I watched some of the videos. The one way back when you talked about what did Mary Landrieu do for the Hill had to be one of the best political videos I've ever seen. Ever.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Truth.
It is absolute truth.
That's exactly, I have said this many times in talking to different groups, Kiwanis and Rotary Clubs, and they'll say, because if you look at it objectively, you'd think, okay, Mary's going to pull this out in the last minute. And I said, the turning point in the race was, in fact, that video. Because from that point forward, her polls never recovered from that. For the first time, somebody challenged her on the assumption that, well, of course Mary Landrieu's out here helping. She's from New Orleans. Of course she helps African Americans. Based on what?
Absolutely not.
Nothing.
Every 4 years, a chicken sandwich and a beer.
Yeah. and a T-shirt if you're lucky. Maybe a half pack, not even Marlboros. Okay? You get some Puma sweats and some Pall Mall, okay? You don't even get the real deal. And it's Wonder Bread. It ain't even some good Evangeline bread. It's some Wonder Bread sandwiches. You get nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well, we got a couple minutes more to spend with Elbert Guillory, who is running for Senate, and just give us everything you got in the next 2 minutes.
Well, There are several things that I'm concerned about. The biggest thing I'm concerned about is federal spending.
Mm-hmm.
Federal spending threatens the lives of every man, woman, and child in America. People forget what happens when governments go bankrupt. Look at Greece, look at Detroit, and you'll see who's hurt. Just about everybody, particularly the elderly and poor and young people. I'm concerned about education, the education system in America today. 60% of our children do not read or write at grade level. 60%.
Scary.
We cannot be a great nation and be illiterate. So we have to change that. We're not safe in our homes and on our streets. We have to address the problem of violence. And what's happened is that we put garbage, violence into our children, and that is what has created a culture of violence. Mm-hmm. We have to attack the culture of violence, not by messing around with gun rights, but by stopping the garbage that we're putting into our kids. And of course, we have to do something about immigration. Yeah. These sanctuary cities have to be removed, and we have to stop taking the jobs away from people who've been here standing in line for a long time.
Mm-hmm. You know, when I had just moved away from New Orleans after Katrina, just left, and when Katrina money started flowing into New Orleans, one of the surprises was all of a sudden illegals showed up. So the person who was displaced, needed the job, could not get it, and illegals would get those jobs. And that's what I mean when I say politicians allowing that to happen. We can't let illegals take jobs that hard-working Americans would love to have.
Did it in 1972 in
Yes.
Maryland. 200 people, 200 Americans fired for 200 immigrants who came in because they were not the right religion. The Bishop of Baltimore did that.
Before we go, website where people can go get more information. I'm sure there's one out there.
VoteElbert.com. VoteElbert. VoteElbert.com.
Quite easy.
Send your prayers, send your advice, and send your money, too.
I like that.
Elbert Guillory joining us today. Thanks
Thank
for
you
being
so
with
much.
us.
We
appreciate
appreciate it
it.
always.